Hi everyone, welcome to our class. This is the first part of my lecture on mathematics of investment, and today my lecture will focus on the simple interest. And at the end of the lecture, you are expected to be able to define common terms used in investment and solving simple interest, solve simple interest, convert time from days and month to year, solve for the interest rate in simple interest problem, solve for the principal amount in simple interest problem, and solve the time in simple interest problem. There are different activities that we can do in investments. So the very common activities are buying and selling. So we invest money to buy items in bulk for a bigger discount and sell it in retail to obtain higher profit. Or you can invest money to buy assets such as real estate or stocks and expect that this will generate a profit when you are going to sell it in the future. Another activities of investments are in borrowing and lending money. So we borrow and invest money for health as we believe health is wealth. Because if one is healthy, you can work better and of course will have a better income. Or we invest money for payment of school fees. As we all believe, education is investment because if you have a good education, you can land a better work and of course obtain a better income. Or we also borrow and invest money to start a business. We also invest our money through lending. So instead of just keeping your money, we invest it in lending to earn a greater interest. Interest is the monetary benefit or income the borrower offered or paid to the lender in return to the privilege given by allowing him to use it in his own advantage. We are going to define some terms which are used in investment problems. Lender. A lender is the person or institution who loan or lends money to a debtor who is also called the borrower or the maker. The principal amount or simply principal is the amount of money loaned or lent by the lender or the amount received by the debtor. The time or term refers to the number of years for which the borrowed money is invested with interest. And the interest is computed either simple interest or compounded interest based on the agreed annual rate of interest, which is expressed in percent. The simple interest or simply interest is denoted by the variable I, and it is found using the formula I is equal to P times R times T, where I in here is the interest in pesos, P is the principal amount in pesos, R is the rate of interest in percent or the annual interest rate, but take note that it should be converted to decimal when used in the computation. And T is time or term expressed in years. Let us solve this problem. Jonah approached her friend Mila and borrowed 25,000 for 2 years at 8% simple interest rate to buy a new computer set for her son. How much interest should she pay to Mila at the end of the term? So we start our solution by identifying what are given. So here Jonah borrowed 25,000. So this will be the principal amount, 25,000 for 2 years. So the term or time is 2 years. At 8% simple interest, so we have the rate of interest is 8% and converting that one to decimal, we have divide 8 by 100, that give us 0.08. And then we are asked in here how much interest should she pay to Mila at the end of the term. So we are required to find for the interest. So since we have the formula for the interest, I is equal to P times R times T, We substitute now the values. We have I is equal to P, principal amount is 25,000, R is 0.08, and the time in years is 2. So using your calculator, you'll arrive at I is equal to 4,000 pesos. That means the interest on this initial amount or principal amount of 25,000 at 8% annual rate after 2 years will be 4,000 pesos. In the computation of interest, I is equal to PRT. T, which represents the time or term, should always be expressed in terms of years. However, in some problems, time may be given in different ways. So if time is expressed in T years, then T in the formula is equal to T year. If the time is given in terms of months, so you have to convert this one to year. Since there are 12 months in a year, T in the formula will be equal to the given time in month divided by 12 so that it will be expressed in terms of year. If the time is expressed in days, okay, so in the approximate time, there are 360 days in 1 year. Assuming that there are 30 days in 1 month, so 30, and there are 12 months in a year, there are a total of 360 days in 1 year. So we convert the time in days divided by 360 to express it in terms of year. And if we consider the exact time, there are two forms of exact time. We have the common year and the leap year. So for the common year, there are 365 days in 1 year. So you have to divide then the given time in days divided by 365 to express it in terms of year. And for the leap year, this is the time when February has 29 days. So in 1 year, there will be 365 days. So we do the conversion by dividing the given time in days by 366 to express it in terms of year. Let us solve this problem. What is the interest Steph should pay for a borrowed amount of 12,500 with simple interest rate of 4.5% if he decided to return the money at the end of 8 months? So we start our solution by identifying what are given. So here we have the 12,500 is the principal amount. And the simple interest rate, so this is the annual interest rate, is 4.5%. So we convert this one to decimal as we are going to use this in our computation. So that is equivalent to 0.045. And the time is 8 months. Again, we're given in here the time in terms of months. We have to convert this to year. Okay, so we divide 8 divided by 12. That will now be expressed in terms of year, or we can simplify that is equal to 2/3. And we are asked in the problem, what is the interest? So we are required to find for the interest. Using the formula, I is equal to P times R times T. We have now the interest is equal to 12,500. R is 0.045 and T is 2/3. Using your calculator, that gives us now the value of I is 375 pesos. This is now the interest that Steph should pay after 8 months. Let us solve this problem. Lorna loaned the amount of 32,800 to her sister Rena and agreed to pay an interest of 2,492 pesos and 80 centavos at the end of 2 years. What is the interest rate? Okay, so we start with identifying what are given. So the amount loaned to Rina is 32,800. This is the principal amount. And they agreed that the interest will be 2,492 pesos and 80 centavos within or at the end of 2 years. So the time in here is 2 years. This time, we are asked to find the interest rate. Okay, using again the formula for the interest I is equal to P times R times T, to solve for R, we just divide the equation by PT, giving us now R is equal to I divided by P times T. So having all the values of each element in here known, that gives us now R is equal to 2,492 pesos and 80 centavos divided by P, which is 32,800, and you have T is 2. Using your calculator, we have R is equal to 0.038. Since we are asked to find for the interest rate, again, R should be expressed in percent. So you have to convert R to percent. That is, you just multiply 0.038 by 100, giving us R equal to 3.8%. So therefore, the agreed simple interest rate between Lorna and Rena is 3.8%. Here is the problem. Dell borrowed a certain amount with an annual interest rate of 8.5%. He decided to pay the amount at the end of 10 months and was charged to pay an interest of 1,735 pesos and 42 centavos. What is the principal amount he borrowed? We start our solution by identifying what are given. So we have here the annual interest rate is 8.5%. So we have rate of interest is 8.5%, or in decimal we divide 8.5 by 100. That gives us now 0.085. So we are given in here that the amount was paid at the end of 10 months. So time is 10 months. We have to convert this one to year. So we have to divide 10 months by 12. That gives us now 5/6 year. Then we are given that the interest is 1,735 pesos and 42 centavos. What is asked is the principal amount he borrowed. Again, using the formula for the interest, I is equal to P times R times T. This time, what is asked is P. And so, knowing I, the interest, the rate of interest, and the time, so we are going to divide the equation by R times T, giving us now the value of P equal to I over RT. Substituting values, I is 1,735 pesos and 42 centavos. R is 0.085 and time is 5/6. Using now your calculator, P is 24,500 pesos. So this is now the principal amount borrowed by Dell. Here is another problem. How long should Madel invest her 36,000 pesos to earn an interest of 3,000 pesos at simple interest rate of 3 1/3%? Okay, so we start our solution again by identifying what are given. So the 36,000 pesos is the principal amount and the interest is 3,000 pesos. The interest rate is 3 1/3%, which is, when converted to decimal, this is 0.0333. Okay, and we are required to find this time how long. So we are referring to the time. So we are required to find for the time. This is in years. So using again the formula for the interest, I is equal to P times R times T. Solving for T, we divide the equation by P times R, giving us now T is equal to I all over P times R. Then substituting now the values, we have T is equal to the I, which is the interest, is 3,000 pesos. P is 36,000 and R in decimal is 0.0333. Using the calculator, T is equal to 2.5 years. Okay, so Madel should invest her money, the 36,000 pesos for 2.5 years at 3 and 1/3% to obtain an interest of 3,000 pesos. I will end up my discussion in here. I hope by this time you already know how to solve simple interest problem. Thank you for watching.